Today we're going to continue in our series, Afterlife, right? Afterlife. What happens after we die? What happens? We just get buried and turn into worms or worm food or wherever that is. But we're going to continue the series. And the little tagline, Heaven, where the adventure begins. And guys, dads, we're going to be talking to you today. So ladies, you can listen in and maybe you can pick up a few things that might be helpful to you. But I'm going to speak to the guys today, because it's going to be a little different. Anyway, Sandy and I, the first time we went to the Caribbean was Jamaica, and it was about a year into our marriage, 1984, 1985, somewhere in there, and a family in the church that we were serving at paid for us to go. There was no way we had the money. She was making $9 an hour, I was making $50 a week, and it was just, there was no way. But Jamaica, wow. This is before the internet or anything like that, so we had the brochure, Jack Tar Village, all-you-can-eat resort in Jamaica, Montego Bay. And we're just looking at the brochure every day. We're getting close, looking at the brochure. It was like 4 pages. We're looking at it, right? And there's no internet, so we can't do that. And we're talking to people in the church that have been, and they're telling us about it and how cool it is, and we're kind of getting the story, around the whole thing. And then, of course, again, this is for guys, but have you ever seen any of these movies? Okay, well, Ian Fleming lived in Jamaica for much of his life and wrote many of the James Bond movies from Jamaica, and so a lot of the stuff was so I did watch some of the James Bond movies and get a feel for it, but that was my whole understanding of it. Heaven, I got to finish the story. When we got there, the brochure wasn't even close. I mean, yeah, the pictures were real and the whole thing, but the water was bluer than blue. The food was amazing. The pineapples they cut up for you, and they do all the. We had the most amazing experience, and we spoiled us, right? We're married like a year. We're like, okay, this is going to be our thing, and we didn't get to do it again for many more years. But it was incredible. That is the way heaven is for us. We hear about it. God's given us a brochure on it. It's kind of cool, right? We can talk to people who have gone. Or read about people who have gone. Next week, Pastor Kay is going to touch on some near-death experiences. Paul the Apostle said that he went up to the third heaven. It's like, whoa, that's Jamaica. It's like, I don't know what that's about. But we can talk to also, I am actually a personal friend with the one who created heaven. His name is Jesus. And he gives me little snippets, and I try to understand it. My brain just can't quite take it all in, but I get excited about it. I'm going to try to give us a little better understanding, because dads, I want you to see heaven is a place that God has made for you. Men, it's where the adventure begins. Heaven is where the adventure begins, where your deepest needs, your greatest longings are perfectly fulfilled, where your fatherhood reaches its fullest potential. It's unlike most anything that you've ever experienced, certainly that you ever will experience. So let's start with earthly fatherhood. Limited, yet driven by eternity. Limited, yet driven by eternity. Let me ask the dads a question. How many of you dads got to be there when your child was born and you cut the umbilical cord? You actually got to cut the... Okay, a few of you. God bless you. Wow. So Stephen, my first... unbelievable young man. I'm in there, right? So I'm in the place then, and the baby's coming out, and he had to be sucked out. So I had this cone head thing, and the doctor then hands me the scissors. And I'm like, yeah, just cut the cord. And I start shaking. And I get the scissors around the cord like this. I couldn't do it. I dropped the scissors. The doctor goes, what are you doing? You've got the baby's got to get the baby, right? I couldn't do it. I don't want to hurt this child. It's really scary for me. Fatherhood is tough. Late night, hard calls to make. Moments when I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. We brought Stephen home from the hospital, and Sandy had a really tough labor. She had some surgery afterward, and so she's trying to recover from that. And I got this baby. And I've never changed a diaper before. I don't know if I've ever held a baby. I know I hadn't held a baby that young before. I immediately called my mother-in-law. Now that you got to tell, it tells you how messed up I was to call the mother-in-law. You have to get down here. She was in Seattle at the time. We were in Salem, Oregon. And so she drives down that day. And I remember, I'm not terribly proud of this, but I remember she walked through the door. Before she could put her suitcase down or anything, I hand her Stephen, and I left. I checked out. I go, I'm in way over my head. The weight of that responsibility was too much for me at that time. I had a master's degree at the time. I was pastoring one of the fastest growing churches in Oregon at the time. But I was slammed right in my face with my own humanity. And looking at my limitations that I don't have enough, I don't know enough, I'm not good enough, I'm gonna mess this thing up, I'm gonna break this child, and I don't know what to do, and it scared me, so I bailed. There's a guy named Job in the Bible that was like that. He's asking God, how come this is going on? God, this is not right. God, you know this is wrong. God, what about this? And he's going through all this stuff, and he comes to the very end of the book, and finally God speaks to Job, and he says this, Job, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? You think you know so much. You've given me all your best arguments. And tell me if you can just answer that question. And what God was telling Job is what God was showing me. There in that little trailer that we lived in, that I am not God. I am not God. I don't know it all. I can't be everywhere. I don't have all power. You don't have all the answers that your kids are asking you. Remember the why stage? Why, Daddy? Why? Why, Daddy? Why? Why? Why, Daddy? Why is the Fruit Loops yellow and blue and green? Why? Why? Because they put sugar on it. Why they put sugar on it? Because so you'll like it more. Why will I like it more? Because it tastes good. And you finally, just eat your cereal. Why? Those are the easy ones. As they begin to mature. Dad, you think she's the one? Dad, where do I go to school? Dad, I have these job opportunities. And all of a sudden, you're supposed to be the guy, and you're supposed to know, and you're supposed to have it all together. And you recognize that you've not been down some of these roads before, and you can't help them the way that you would like to. You know what I learned having kids? I learned I can't be everywhere all at once. I got 3 kids. They begin to, grow up, they go to school, and God bless you, teachers. But why do you put I was so thankful when the last one graduated from college. I didn't have to go to another. You children have your future before you. You are going to be the future of the world. And oh my goodness. And how many flautist recitals can you stand when your kid doesn't play very well? Daddy, you going to be at mine? Daddy, you going to be at mine? All 3 of them got to go in 3 different directions, and I can't be there. All 3 of them. I'm going to disappoint 2 of them. Mom, you go to that one, you go to that one. Stephen, he was a little older, so we just said, you just go by yourself. I remember I put him on a plane at 12 years old and didn't pay the extra money to have the escort. I said, no, just act like you're 15. Don't say anything. You can't be there all the time. God was not mocking us when he gave us kids. What he was doing was showing us, you need me. I am all powerful. I am all knowing. I do have the ability to be everywhere at the same time. I've been where you haven't been if you'll lean into me. Something about our generation, my generation, in 1960s, 95% of working class children grew up in the same area as their parents and their grandparents. The latest stats that I could find in 2005, only 30%. Many of you in this room, you moved away. Audrey and Chris, they just moved from Houston. You have family way back there. And you can't make that phone call and say, hey, can you be here because I don't know what to do. How do I approach this? What do I do here? Years ago, they would show you, let me show you how to swaddle that baby. Let me show you how to change a diaper. Let me show you how to. We don't have that. It's even more relevant for us than to lean into our Father in heaven. And he expects us to turn to him, especially when we want to bail as dads and check out. We are here to shape our kids for eternity, for the afterlife. It's huge. Ecclesiastes, Solomon, smartest guy in the world, said, Yet God has made everything beautiful for its own time, even that child that is crying and won't go to sleep, and you're rocking and you're trying and you don't know what to do. And he has planted eternity in that child's heart. That little life that you've been gifted with, eternity is placed in their heart. But even so, people can't see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to the end. Even though it's there in them and in you, you still can't see all that God has. Think of this. Eternity in their hearts. And yet, why do you always want more? Why do you always want more? And you're never satisfied with what you have. Think about it. If you came into my closet and saw my shoes, you would say what my wife says. Charlie, that's sin. And so I pray for forgiveness and then go buy another pair. Because there's always a better pair. There's always, hey, come on, right? Hey, what about these? What about these? Well, I need these. You don't need them. I always want more. You get a new car. It's good for about 2 weeks. You start seeing it everywhere. I don't know what car everybody else drives. Hey, give me a new car. You're never satisfied. We're always longing for more. That is an indication that eternity is in your heart, that this world will never, ever satisfy you. You're trying to fill eternity with things that this earth cannot do. C.S. Lewis put it like this in The Weight of Glory, one of his books. We are half-hearted creatures fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered to us. When there's something more than this life, like ignorant children who want to go on making mud pies in a slum because we can't imagine what Jamaica's like. I just sit here with this stuff that wow, another pair, another car, another something. It's never enough. And we teach it to our children. We model it for them and say, hey, get all you can out of this life. Get a bigger house. Get better. Get more. All you can. And it's the difference between raising a spoiled child and maturing our kids in Christ. Eternity is in your heart. It's in their heart. We have a longing that we were born with that only heaven can satisfy. We have limits here. I hope that it pushes you to point your kids to something that will satisfy. You don't have all the answers. How about saying, I don't know, but I know this: when I get to heaven, I'll have an answer. I can't do this now, but you know what? When I get to heaven, Stephen asked me, Dad, teach me how to dunk a basketball. Man, I got a 4-inch vertical leap. And my greatest reach, that leaves me about 12 inches short of even touching the rim. And I don't look, Dad's not good enough. Dad's not, I wish, No, you know what? Hey, Stephen, when I get to heaven, you wait till you see me dunk a basketball. It's going to be amazing. I start pointing them and putting something in them that says, hey, I long for something more. Why do your children love fairy tales? I'll tell you a story. A long time ago in a land far, far away, there's a princess. She was locked in a castle, and the knight came and slew the dragon and saved the princess. They lived, and they fell in love, and they lived happily ever after. Tell me another story, Daddy. Tell me another story. Why do you and I love fairy tales? Because there's something in your heart that says, I want that to be real. At the very least, you want there to be something else. Something cries within you. And as you age, it doesn't go. Anybody know the number one grossing movie of all time? Number one grossing movie, money. Somebody said it over here. I heard it. Avalon. Okay. Thank you. Who said it over here? Oh, good job. Avatar. $3 billion worldwide, around the world, the highest grossing movie. And I thought it was a dumb movie. I barely could watch the thing. Seriously, I thought Colonel Hardbottom should have just dropped a nuke on top of that tree and ended the whole deal. But this thing, why? Because John Sully, paraplegic, all of a sudden gets a new body. where he can now soar, where he can do things that he never dreamed of ever being able to do. And the evil is defeated, and righteousness reigns, and the beauty, and people go, yeah. And not just here in America, around the world, this thing is grabbed. One of the second highest grossing movies, Avatar 2. I've saved myself from that. You know what, like number 2 or 3 is? Titanic. Titanic is that boat that's 3 hours long. Why? There's a love story there. It's historical, but you go, hey, I want to fall in love. I want there to be something more. I want to have that kind of magic in my life. Can it be? C.S. Lewis says, it wouldn't be in your heart if God didn't plan to fill it. But it's not for here. It's for heaven. There are some things that God put in us that will never, ever, ever be filled here. And what happens to so many of us? We say, you know what? It's never going to happen. We teach our kids, you just got to learn about life. It's tough, it's hard, and it's rough, so I'm just going to just pour that into you. And you got to get all you can and take all you can and be all you can right here, right now, because this is all there is for you. And we begin to live that way, and our kids begin to live that way, and we miss out teaching our kids that there is a real place that God has promised to fill. Heaven, where the adventure begins. Let me talk about it. It's a physical place, a heavenly place. I'm going to set expectations here. If you're taking notes, I've got 12 pages here. I'm going to get through about 6. And one of the things that I've been asked through this series is, especially from guys, what about sex in heaven? Like, really? We don't? And some single guys, I'm not married yet, and I'd like to, it's in your notes, but we're not going to get there. Come back in a couple weeks. Heaven is not floating around on a cloud, strumming a harp, wearing a diaper. It's a real place. It has real rules, real laws of physics. Revelation 21, Pastor Clint did a great job teaching us through this. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the old heaven and the old earth had disappeared. And the sea was gone, and I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven like a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. June 2nd, 1984, Sandy and I were married 41 years ago, and I remember we're standing in the church at Everett Assembly, and I'm on the platform, and she comes in with her dad in that beautiful white dress. Her hair was perfect. Everything was amazing, and I start crying. I could not believe that this beautiful, beautiful person would want to marry me. And we stood there, and we exchanged vows, and it was just, you get, and here Jesus is saying, let me paint the picture for you. When you see this coming out of heaven, something in your heart is finally going to go, that's it. That's it. And it's not the place, it's the experience of what it means. Clint talked to us about 1,200 miles by, Clint, is that right, Dr. Clint? It's 1,200 miles by 1,200 miles to 1,400. I said, okay, 1,400 by 1,400 by 1,400. It's crazy. James Bennett tried to draw a picture of it. He's got really a lot of cool illustrations. But and that's just the capital. There are billions of cities that heaven affords. And this is just the capital. It's a new heaven and a new earth. What happened to the old heaven and the old earth? There's a lot of different ways to look at this. Is it gone? Just, God just obliterates it and it's just everything's new? Or is it a new earth like before the flood? God says, hey, I'm sad that I made man, God said. I'm going to send a flood. Noah, get as many as you can in the boat with you. You got 8 people. And then when it was restored, when the waters receded, it was new. Things were different, but it was made new. Same earth. If you guys following the discovery of Noah's Ark there in Turkey, some of you following some of that stuff, it's pretty fascinating. He said, hey, it's the same earth, but it's different. Let me give you another. If you're truly saved, if you have given your heart to Christ, you've gone through the waters of baptism, you said, Jesus, I am all in with you. The Bible says you've been born again. In fact, in Corinthians, Paul puts it like this. If anyone is in Christ, he's a new creation. It's come. The old is gone, and the new is here. Similar language to Jerusalem. The old is gone, new is here. But guess what? You would look at me and say, oh, you're Charlie. I was Charlie in 1977 when I gave my heart to Christ. But I'm not that Charlie. I'm new. And you know what's cool about this? Is I'm being made new all the time. You know, if you don't like me today, hang on, give me a couple weeks. Let God do his work in because he's making me new. So you still know me, you could look at me, when we get to heaven, you're gonna go, oh, that's Charlie. Oh, he's still got those little quirks. Oh, he won't have ADHD, that's kind of cool. But it's still his personality. Right? We are who we are. God doesn't just make it, we recognize each other because this is who we are. Just perfected. I'll get to that some a little bit. I'm a new person. So when we talk about heaven, heaven's not some dreamland. It's a physical place. You'll walk around, you'll build cities, you'll plant vineyards. It's tangible, but it's perfected. Isaiah says it like this, look, I'm creating a new heaven and a new earth. No one will even think about the old one anymore. I don't think about my old life as a lost person doing the things that I did. No, I think about my future with Christ. Today, they will build houses, live in them. They will plant vineyards in their fruit. Your work in heaven will last. It thrives. There's no curse. It's a place for creation and achievement. Here's the deal. Heaven will have rules. It's got physical properties to it. That 1 Corinthians passage that we've referred to many times through this series about our bodies being changed. So it is with the resurrection of the dead. We are sown. What is sown is perishable. What is raised is imperishable. It's kind of cool. What is sown in dishonor is raised in glory. What's sown in weakness is raised in power. What's sown in a natural body is raised in a spiritual body. If there's a natural body, there's also a spiritual body. Your resurrected, your glorified body is designed for heaven. The physical body you're in right now would not operate in heaven. When Jesus rose from the dead, what did he do? He still walked around. I don't get this thing where he walked through walls. That one's a little bit, I don't know, but we'll be able, I don't know. But he walked, he ate, he hung out, he's talked, he interacted, he affirmed, he built up. In heaven, the Bible teaches us that we're going to do real work. We're going to have real challenges, real obstacles. If there's no obstacles for guys, especially, there's no challenge. Like, well, what's the point then? Anybody old enough to remember I Dream of Jeannie? Yeah. How about Bewitched? Right? Right. Both husbands go, I'm like, if I was married to him, I'd go, hey, keep doing your thing, right? But they're, no, don't use your power, don't use your power. Right? It's not going to be like that. You're not going to be able to blink and have everything there. You're going to have to invent, you have to discover. You ever seen those videos where they launch these boats? You ever seen that? Watch this one. This is crazy.
Take a look at this video. A ship launch went horribly wrong, and now it's become an internet sensation. It appears to splash into the water on one side. Look at that. As a result, debris went flying, and several people were hurt. Wow.
So when I first saw this, they had a caption up there that says, surely we could find a better way to do this. And they showed boat after boat after boat, just, different clips of different, ships being launched. And like, seriously, that's the best way. Our greatest, most brightest minds, that's the best we have. In heaven, if you've got an engineering background, that's the thing, you just geek out on that stuff, you can sit there and go, oh, I'm going to find a better way to do this. I'm typing on a computer. I don't know if they have computers in heaven, but they probably will after you figure out how to make them really cool. But you get to invent, you get to conquer, you get to explore, you get to discover. The challenge is real. If you're an artist, you get to paint a painting that's never, ever, ever been painted before. The billions of people that will be in heaven, you'll paint something and hey. And what's cool is you'll take it into the Father and he'll go, well done. I love that. That's really amazing. I love to work with wood. I love cooking pies and things, but if you, gardening, farming, husbandry, whatever God made you. Psalm 139, you've seen this so many times, but he says, our personalities will be the same in heaven. Oh, you made all the delicate inner parts of my body, knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion. As I was woven together in the darkness of the womb, you knew me before I was born. When God made you, he said, yeah, I want to make you. I love that personality in you. The things, the quirks about you that you don't like, he says, no, I put that in there on purpose. And you'll be that same person. Your desires that are yours, your longings, they may be similar to other people. You know, we have these personalities that could be similar, but no two are the same. God made you uniquely you. Imagine, you get to build a bridge. I've always wanted to. You get to make a glider, climb mountains that you never dreamed of climbing, explore the ocean. Here's the deal, though. If I make a pie and I put in the wrong ingredients, it's still going to taste bad. It's not just going to go, ooh, you just put mud in there and some dirt and gravel and look, beautiful. No, it's going to be a muddy, dirty, grokey pie. Nobody's going to eat it. But after time and perfection and figuring it all out and going, oh, I've never tasted anything like that before in my life. You know, if you like woodworking like I do, you know the saying, measure once, cuss twice. If you measure wrong, the board is not going to magically just be longer. It's still going to be too short. You have to go back and do it again. But you get an opportunity to keep at this thing. For dads, you know, 2 + 2 will never be 5. Your kids will come to you and they'll respond to you differently. As you prepared them for heaven, they'll actually want to hang out with you even though they're teenagers. They'll want you to pour into them. Can you imagine going on vacations in heaven with your kids? We've always wanted to go to Jamaica. Let's go check it out together. Yeah, Dad, let's do it. Can we bring your sister? Of course. I thought you guys hated each other. Not in heaven. You guys get along? Yeah, I love her. You get to explore, build, try, fail, try again. We don't know all the details, but we know enough. It's structured. It allows us to push, to innovate, to achieve heaven, where the adventure begins. How does it all work? Not sure. But we know enough that the Garden of Eden, the paradise that God created initially, will be restored. Paradise will be restored. So we'll work without the curse. So what we do in heaven will not have the curse over it. If we go all the way back to the garden, Genesis 2 says the Lord placed man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. You ever read the stories of Lewis and Clark? McCullough's got a good book, you know, kind of just reading their journals and putting it in a way. Talks about when they go where no white person had ever gone before. And they see the thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of buffalo in the grasslands. They see the trees and the beavers, and they've never. He's describing these animals that you know that his people had never seen before. He's talking about it, and they're having to eke out of the land and build the stuff that was broken. They couldn't take it with them, and so they're making stuff and they're learning and trying as they're going along. I'm seeing Adam like that. God says, "Hey, let me put you in here. You figure it out. Watch over the place. Take care of it." I've never seen this before. It's fulfilling, it's challenging, without the ugliness of man polluting, destroying the creation. There's no sin. Man names the animals, invented things, explored things, and it was all a joy, not a burden. That's the model for heaven. It's still work, but it's not burdensome work. You may have had the experience where you worked all night. And your wife's going, "Hey, come to bed." No. I just want to finish. Not because you're pressured from your boss who said, you got to get this done by the deadline. And you're feeling all this weight and it hurts between your shoulder blades and you're just pushing because, No, because you love what you're doing. And you can't wait to get it done. You can't wait to see the product. You love every minute. Adam couldn't wait to get up in the morning. God gave him the challenge to name the animals. I found one today. This is the craziest thing. It's got feathers, but it nurses its young. It lays eggs, but it's warm-blooded. I've never seen anything like this before. I've looked at a lot of, this one's a new one. I think I'll call it a platypus. Think about it. Things that you've never seen before. First time I ever went scuba diving, you're snorkeling, you put your head under the water, and you pull your head out. And it goes on. If you're on a core, it goes on and on and on. And then you step back and you think about the universe. You wonder what's on that star. I don't know. Why don't you build a spaceship to go there? I can? Sure. In fact, we got some people that can help you, really smart engineers. Go talk to them. They give you a hand with it. But then came the fall. The garden never quite made it to its realization. In Genesis chapter 3, and God said to man, since you listened to your wife and you ate the tree, the fruit I commanded you not to eat, the ground is cursed because of you. And all your life, you're going to struggle to scratch a living from it. And it'll grow thorns and thistles, and you're going to eat its grain, but you're going to do it by the sweat of your brow. You're going to have that feeling in the back of your neck. And someday you're just going to return to the ground, the dust that you came from, and the dust you return. And that's it. And that's what you and I experience much of the time. I'm going to go to work, come home, go to work tomorrow, pay the bills. Oh, maybe a Jamaica trip in there somewhere. Yeah, that'll be great. And then pay the bills, go back to work. Maybe a good movie. We'll watch Avatar tonight. Yay. And then someone introduced you to Christ. Who said, I want to restore what the curse has stolen. I want to put back in you what you're longing for. And you can continue to try to chase after the next and the next and the next, or you can stop chasing and see me coming from the back of the room and go, that's it. That's the one. In Revelation 22, he says, no longer will there be a curse upon anything, for the throne of God and the Lamb will be there, and his servants will worship him. And the curse is gone. And in heaven at last, because there's no sin to mess it up, the possibilities become limitless. If it doesn't turn out quite right, we get to try it again. There's invention. There's invention. There's exploration, accomplishments, discovery. You're imperishable in heaven. You can't die. Figure that one out. For guys especially, and I know it works with ladies too, but we love the adventure. If there's no danger involved, why do it? Right? Okay, if you can't get hurt, then what's the point? Man, when I flew hang gliders, like, yeah, give me a bigger mountain and jump off. Yeah, but hey, it's part of the excitement. So in heaven, where's the excitement if there's no challenge? No possibility of failure. Remember those guys who tried to take the sub down to the Titanic, see if they could find that diamond? A couple, it was like last year, I think. And they all died. Some rich guy built this sub and, well, it's not going to happen in heaven. Well, then what happens? Let me give you a couple possibilities. I don't know. Maybe you're designing that sub, a spaceship or whatever that thing is, and a smart person comes along and says, you see that thing right there? That seam's going to fail. Don't go in the water yet. Take care of that. Or maybe an angel, like, hey, I know you want to launch this thing, but hey, take it back, Junior. Spend some more time with it. And you go, oh, okay. Maybe Jesus himself comes up. Oh, Not going to let you launch yet. Listen, I know. I've been there. I know everything. Remember Job? Doesn't know. So listen to me. Spends more time. And it's not like you're going to be ticked off, guys. Oh, okay. I got to work on this some more. I got to figure this thing out. Okay, it's not quite right yet. I'm excited about this. Some people think it's like Groundhog Day. You take the stuff down there, it blows up, and you just get put back in your laboratory. Okay, I don't like that one. But you can't fail. I know that. I believe there's going to be sports in heaven. Guys are competitive. Women are competitive too. My wife is competitive. Don't get in a sporting match with her. She'll either win or you're dead. She's competitive. What's the point of sports? But there'll be sports in heaven. Competition. Isaiah promises, my people will build homes, they will live in them, they will plant vineyards and eat their fruit. Unlike the past, invaders will not come and take their homes and their vineyards. For my people will live as long as trees, and I love this last part, and my chosen ones will have time to enjoy, what's it say? Their hard-won gains. If it's just a gain because it's just everything just free and everything just comes to you, no. In heaven, you may lose the championship game of the universe. What do you call it? World Series? No, not World Series. Universe Series. Super Bowl? No, not Super Bowl. Super Duper Bowl. No, you're going to play into what is it? U.S. Open right now, right? Today? How many of you guys are going to home finish the U.S. Open, right? No, this is the Universe Open. This is the real deal. Stanley Cup? No, Jesus Cup. But when you lose, you're going to throw your clubs down. You're going to get enlivened. Think about it. When you play with somebody who's better than you, and you watch them, that's why you watch it. You're just amazed at these sports guys. You go, wow. But those guys that are in heaven that are so good at, they're going to let you play with them. You know how intimidated you are now if you go up to the tee like me, and you've got some guys that can play, and then the guys that can really play are watching you with that first shot, and you're like, can I just drop and pick up, and so I don't have to hit this first tee, right? In heaven, you won't have that feeling of shame. They're going to cheer you on. They're going to give you, hey, do your hands a little bit better. And not in an unkind way, in a way that you go, thank you. And when you lose, if you end up losing, you're going to go, man, I can't wait to another 1,000 years. I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to get better, and I'm going to play them again. I can't wait for the next game. Our team's going to get better. You know what it's like. When you play somebody better, it raises your game. Imagine getting to teach your kids. How many of you taught your kids sports? You didn't coach your team, right? Okay, my kids, all right. Hold your bat like this, keep your elbow up. They rest it on their shoulder. Don't rest it on your shoulder. You want to keep this thing up. You want to be able to get some good bat swing out of it. My friend said I could do it like this. You can't do it like this. Will you listen to your dad? Hey, this is the way I want to do it. This is the way Cal Raleigh does. Cal Raleigh does not do it that way. And finally, fine. And then they just walk off the thing and hardest thing in the world to get your kids to. Not in heaven. Not in heaven. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. But you know what? Jesus was showing me the other day, and he said, do it like this. Okay, do it his way. Right? Every project you do with your kids, exciting. Kids aren't frustrated. Explore with your kids. Hey, let's do it. Let's go up to the top of the mountain. That's heaven, where the adventure begins. Let me close. When it talks about worship in heaven, it's a very real thing. Jesus will be the center of attention. Just like when my wife came down that aisle, she was the center of attention. Man, I love her. Guys, I'm going to ask you a rhetorical question. Do you love your wife? Okay, even though it's rhetorical, raise your hand, guys. Come on. She's sitting there close, right? Okay. And you don't have to answer this one, but did you have that experience when you saw her come down the aisle, when she said yes, when you had that experience? Now, let me ask you this. Do you love her any less when you go out and play basketball, shoot hoops with the guys? When you go play softball, when you go around to golf, do you love your wife any less? You don't. It's just a different part of the relationship. Now, everything can be abused, but in heaven you won't abuse it. Jesus, the center of attention in all of heaven. And the worship will be phenomenal. And you will feel the love and the fullness and the fulfillment of knowing Christ and saying, he's my king, and I love him. And I don't know how long, 1,000 years, 5 years, 20 minutes. We asked our men's group on Thursday morning, how long can you pray? One guy said, man, I'm good for about 6 seconds. I don't know how long. But then you'll go out of his presence in the temple, in the throne room, and you'll shoot hoops. You'll climb a mountain. You'll plan things. You'll build things. You'll discover things. It doesn't mean you love Christ less. And just like a dad with his kids saying, go play. There's going to be some point, no, I'm just going to be with you, Jesus. Not just be with you, Jesus. Just be with you, Jesus. Just, would you go outside? I don't think Jesus is going to get frustrated, but he's going to say, hey, can I show you some things that you can discover? Can I show you some things? But yes, I know. I am all in all. I'm above all. I created all. I know all. But enjoy what I've made for you. Just like you want your kids when they open the gift and play with it. Have fun with it. Here's the deal, and I'm done. It can only happen if you help your kids see eternity and what it affords them. If you, like so many of us, chase after the next thing and chase after the next thing and chase after the next thing, we don't let them know that the fairy tale is real. Oh, not the one in the little book, but the one in his book. And your fulfillment can actually be fulfilled. The longing in your heart is actually real. You don't have to chase after these things. If you'll impart that to them, oh, heaven is amazing. So let me give you a chance on this Father's Day in 2025 as we bow our heads and close our eyes. And so many of us have so much to ask for forgiveness over, buying another pair of shoes, chasing after one more thing. And say, God, I'm sorry. I get caught up in the love of this world instead of the love of the new world. And I ask you today, Jesus, to come into my heart fresh and new. God, let me be a model for my kids. Let them see that eternity is planted in my heart and that it longs for heaven, where the adventure begins. In Jesus' name, amen.